Our next guest is having an outstanding season as a member of the Notre Dame women's swimming team. Danielle Margheret is one of the top college swimmers in the country. She is ranked in the top 10 in the ACC and in the top 30 in the NCAA in the 100-meter breaststroke. Out of the pool, she is completing her degree in the Mendoza College of Business with a double major in marketing and design. Margheret, welcome. Tell me what the difference is right now for you and for this team with your sustained success throughout this swimming season.
This season is definitely different from the past since my freshman year. It's the only season that we've been consistent. My freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year, I had all different coaching staffs every single year, just with rotating coaching staff. So this is the first year that we have the same coaching staff carrying over. So that's definitely helped, like the attitude of the team and the team chemistry, and just kind of overall, just having consistency is really helping us stay consistent in meets as well.
And in the past, the men's team and the women's team were separate.
Correct.
Now you've been combined.
Yes.
How has that changed the dynamic?
Well, I think the dynamic is honestly a lot more supportive now than it ever has been. There is always some tension between the men's and women's team my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, just because we didn't know how combined we could be. But now that we're swimming together and racing together, it's just a lot more fun to be able to be tight-knit and supportive of each other at all times.
How is that racing against some of the men's swimmers?
Oh, we don't race in the same races as them, but in the same meets we kind of support them.
But in practice, I imagine, do you ever just race a guy in practice?
Yes, we do.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean. And does that, can that help? I mean, there's just a physiology that we can't deny.
For sure. We give the guys definitely a hard time some days, and we might be having a better swim day than they are when we kind of touch them out on the wall. So it's definitely a good motivator for us to keep us pushing, as females, pushing harder to set the standard even higher than within our own gender, and also for the males to not let the women catch up and to impress us every now and then.
So I could see the smile on her face. How often do you guys beat the guys? How often do the women beat the guys? Is it a frequent occurrence?
It depends on the guy, but it's definitely a fun chemistry to be around, kind of a thing, and it's kind of giving them a hard time is definitely something we try to do as much as we can. So it's a good motivator for us.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke out of this. An elite female swimmer is going to beat an average guy swimmer. I'm not sure there's a female swimmer that can beat Michael Phelps at his prime necessarily.
Correct.
So that was sometimes I imagine it would help get pushed by an elite male swimmer when you try to beat an elite male swimmer.
Right.
But right now you guys are, if I remember, I think you're ranked higher than the men are right now. So you're having a pretty good year.
Yeah,
but they're ranked as well.
Yes.
So both teams are having a very, very good year. So do you think you're helping the men's team swim better as well?
We're definitely helping each other for sure. Just the support that we can give each other, and we both have pretty big classes as freshmen coming in, and having a good base of leadership as seniors being combined now as well is really helping the freshmen, the big group that we have, the young team that we have, kind of transition to the college atmosphere and compete well at this level.
Now, Rachel mentioned their team psychologists. Do you guys have swimming team psychologists?
Not specifically yet. We have some available that we can go and schedule appointments separately, but we actually signed petitions today to try to get some psychologists for our team as well.
I was actually curious about that too, because mentally you have a select number of meets throughout the year, whereas softball we have 60 plus games. Mm-hmm. What's your mentality going into a meet? You train for how many weeks leading up to it, and it's very much it's very win or lose kind of thing. It's very much on your performance.
Right. We definitely have a lot less dual meets as we do as softball games or soccer games. But really we train for one or two per season that matter the most, because we try to train very hard throughout our entire season so that our bodies are exhausted throughout the entire year almost. And then we rest our bodies and taper our swim practices down so we can swim our best at one or two meets throughout the year. With that being, we have a meet coming up next weekend where we're trying to post up some good times so that we can qualify for NCAAs in March. We also have another opportunity to do that at our conference meet in February as well.
And when you say that you exhaust your bodies, from what I know from your guys' schedule, I think they have one of the hardest schedules out of any of the athletes. You guys swim in the morning, you have workouts, swim in the afternoon. Is that?
Yeah. So let's see. It's Wednesday night tonight. We've had we had 2 swims on Monday, a lift on Monday, 2 swims yesterday, and a swim and a lift today. So we've had
Wow.
And how early do most of your mornings start? Sometimes you guys
6
have
a.m.
Right.
every morning, 6 to 8.
Okay. Now, do you like to eat?
Oh, I love to eat.
And so how many calories can you consume? Because you're obviously, you expect, in very good shape. How many calories can you consume, and how many do you need to consume to make sure you maintain your body?
I don't really try to count calories. I try to mostly focus on protein to make sure I get enough protein to support like muscle growth, and try to avoid sore muscles as much as possible with our extensive practices and everything like that. But it's kind of with the extensive swimming schedule and workout schedule, you definitely have a bigger appetite for food throughout the day. And I don't know if there's even a time throughout the day that you'll catch me not looking at a snack or snacking. So
what's your best training food? Your favorite food that's also good for you?
Oh, I love fish. I
Any
eat
kind?
fish almost. Well, we get salmon at training tables. It's probably the salmon or the whitefish we get. I also like tuna a lot, but that's kind of.
On the other side, what is the food you love to eat that you really shouldn't eat?
Okay, well,
A
it's
lot
not
of
really.
things.
Yeah, that's very true. I have to say, my biggest food that I like to eat that I shouldn't eat as much of as I do is peanut butter. I will have. See, it's still
It's
healthy.
good for you, but it's the
but
excess.
I'll
You have-
eat a half
this
a
is
jar.
because I
Yeah.
love peanut butter too. Athlete, older guy who eats peanut butter. You can see. I guess I need to exercise a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little
Because that's my
different.
late night snack. It's easy. A little bit of milk,
Well,
peanut
I'll
butter,
have like
cracker.
a
It's good. Yeah.
half a jar with a spoon over the weekend. So that's something I definitely need to cut back on. But it's definitely one of my guilty pleasures.
So you also were very close to playing collegiate soccer, right?
Somewhat. I was definitely mostly a soccer player growing up. I started swimming to stay in shape for soccer, actually.
So then what took you down this route?
My sophomore year swimming, I went a pretty fast time, and I was ranked top 5 in the nation for the time that I went, and that kind of took me on the swimming journey, I'd say. So I swam year round for the first time, and I qualified for Olympic trials on like my second race that I tried to swim in that pool kind of set up. It's different. It's 25 yards during the regular season, like collegiate and high school season, and 50 meters during the Olympic season. So my second race in the Olympic season, I qualified for Olympic trials, also junior nationals. So the junior nationals took place during soccer tryouts. So I had to kind of choose one or the other, and at that point I decided that I'd probably be better off swimming.
That's so funny because you hear how like sometimes when you get swimmers that aren't very athletic running wise because they're always in the pool.
Yeah.
And here you are doing the both.
Yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic. It's definitely a stereotype that I like to try to, break down as much as I can as a
It's not just you guys,
swimmer.
hockey players too. Can't see them run. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's definitely something that it bothers me a little bit to hear how swimmers aren't land sports, but then I see some of my fellow teammates try to run, and I understand.
Maybe it's because you had your beginnings in soccer.
Yeah, probably.
You're also a good singer.
Yes, I like to think so.
Well, tell me about your last experience, and this takes, I think, the ultimate in performing bravery because it may be the hardest song to sing in the world. Tell me about your last experience singing the national anthem.
It was at Oscars, I think. It was my last experience, and it was just a lot of fun to be able to share some like my God-given talent with a lot of the other athletes that may not have known that I sing. It was very special for me because I was in show choir all 4 years in high school on top of swimming, on top of soccer. So it was more well known that I can sing in high school, and just to be able to share my music talent with my fellow athletes and friends, it was an amazing experience.
So do you have any goals to have a future in singing somehow?
Well, my dad definitely does for me. He's always told me he sees me in the singing industry, but we'll see. I definitely want to keep it a part of my life as much as possible. It's kind of one of my big outlets now that I don't have soccer as much in my life, and swimming is a very quiet, submerged atmosphere. Singing is definitely one of my stress relief.
So are you
options.
a fan of shows like The Voice?
Oh, I love The Voice, and I love going to musicals and stuff like that. Just anything singing and performing related is awesome.
So any kind of singing?
Yes.
You don't have a particular style, country, classical, pop. You just like to sing it all.
Yeah, and I appreciate it all too. So.
Very
Just-
cool.
Yeah.
What song do you think you sing the best?
Oh, that's a hard question. I have a lot of different genres that I like to take on. I think my go-to would probably be Adele. Some Adele songs would be like Someone Like You.
Powerhouse songs.
Yeah, I guess.
I know your mom's also been facing some health challenges, and how has that impacted your family, and how has it, I guess it's made your family come even closer together?
Oh, for sure. In 2012, my mom was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, which was right after her sister, my aunt, passed away from cancer as well. So that was really difficult for us. That was right before she started treatment on my birthday that year, and she finished the day I left for Olympic trials. So she wasn't able to come watch me, but I was taking care of her every step of the way. And it was just a great way for my family to come together, and it really helped me appreciate my family and my mom and God, especially in a whole new light, especially before leaving for college as well. Just kind of knowing that, they're going to be there for you. You got to be there for them, and you don't know how long they're going to be there for you either. So.
How was it coming to Notre Dame where there's a strong faith aspect here, family tradition? Was that helpful or comforting?
Well, I came from a place like that too. I went to a private high school that was a Jesuit high school, so one reason I chose Notre Dame was because of that atmosphere and the community here, and it was the energy and everything was definitely helpful coming here.
And of course, I know the academics were as well. And if this show had a chorus, it would probably be, and he or she is a student in the Mendoza College of Business. You're a double major,
Yes.
marketing and design. I think we understand what marketing is. What is design in the Mendoza College of Business?
Design is actually in the School of Arts and Letters. So it's my specific design is called Visual Communications Design. It's more graphic design and kind of the art aesthetic.
Which really fits marketing too.
Correct. Which is why I really want to do something in the creative marketing field. So it's kind of helping me get my visual and creative juices flowing while I still stay focused on the marketing aspect of things.
Do you know what you want to do post-college?
I'm definitely looking into agencies. I'm not sure if I want to continue in the marketing, advertising, design, or branding yet. So it's just kind of to see what opportunities come up.
Well, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate not only your being here, but you were told the time way too early, but you were here way too early and sat through the other 3 segments, so I appreciate it. Good luck.
Of course,
Delight to
thank
meet
you for having
All right,
me. It was
Danielle,
great meeting you
thank very
too.
much. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.